Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. It's been a rough week this week with all the floods in town and the horrible traffic jams, but God's been with us and God's been good. We look forward to seeing you in the services all this weekend. I want to talk to you today about a verse that you don't hear preached very much and you don't hear talked about very much, but it's a beautiful, beautiful verse for our families. In Proverbs chapter 17, verse 6, children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are the pride of their children. Children's children are a crown to the ages. Have you ever noticed what great joy grandparents take in their grandchildren? Now, I can remember when Shasha was born, my father played with her for a while and handed her back to me, and then he laughed and he laughed and he said to me with a twinkle in his eye, he said, you know the great thing about grandchildren? You can enjoy them and then give them back. And we had a good laugh together. But there's nothing like watching the pride in the grandparents' eyes as they watch their grandchildren grow up. It's so much fun for me to watch the grandparents here in the church, or to watch Sister Bev's parents or my parents as they looked at Shasha. It's a beautiful thing to see the twinkle in their eye, to see the joy that fills their hearts as they not only look at their children, but they look at their children's children. Families, make sure that Lolo and Lola get to spend time with the grandkids. Sometimes life gets very busy, I know, and traffic gets very rough here in Manila, I know. But make sure that every week Lolo and Lola get to spend time with the grandkids. Stop by and spend some time after church this weekend or something. It'll be a great joy that will fill their hearts. But now, on all the way the other side of the truth of this, and parents are the pride of their children. Parents are a very interesting thing for us, and I know when we start out, we're very young, we think our parents are Superman and Superwoman, and you hear children brag about how much greater their dad and their mom is than your dad and your mom, and little kids have big arguments about whose parents are the greatest, and then they get into teenage years and their parents go from Superman and Superwoman to who's the biggest devil, and some young people get very rebellious in their hearts, but then things begin to slowly swing the other way. And you often hear me say the statement, the older I became, the smarter my father became. And it's true, the older I got, the smarter my mom became and the smarter my dad became. And I began to realize the decisions that they were making at certain ages regarding me, and I thought, wow, they were really clever. They were really wise. And then one day your parents go to heaven. And it's the strangest feeling in the world, because it feels like the foundations go out from under you, because you've always had mom, you've always had dad to look to. I was always very proud of my father and proud of my mother. They were both very different kinds of people. Mom is very artistic and dad was very quiet, sit in the corner and read a book and look up from his glasses and talk to you for a few minutes and help you work on a car. But very different people, but always very, very proud of my mom and dad. I remember when dad went to heaven, I felt like a foundation had been ripped out from under me. And one day I was having a problem with the dogs, and I actually reached for the phone to call my dad, because he always knew what to do with the dogs. I mean, he was always very wise with that. Recently, Sister Bev's mom went to be with the Lord, and it's a very strange thing when our parents go. Now, parents, you and I are to live our lives. And I know we're not perfect. And as parents, sometimes you see your own failures and you see your own shortcomings replicated in the lives of your children, and it's kind of scary. But as parents, we are to work very hard to live the kind of a life that our children can be proud of for the rest of their lives, that our children can be proud of. Our children should never be ashamed of us. Parents are the pride of their children. Parents, let's live like that. Let's live in a way that when our children look at us, when our children speak of us, their hearts are filled with pride for who their mom and dad is.